Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm going to be reading another couple of poems today from A Patriot's Journey, Forging Hope. This is volume 1. And today's poems are going to be um, probably a little more emotional because it's about, um, well, the first one's about my wife, actually, and the support that she gives me, or gave me while I was actively serving and making sure I was taken care of and everything. And um, I never had to worry about home, my kids. I never had to worry about anything. She was running point on everything, and if I needed it, man, it was she'd send it to me, or you know, just always made sure I had everything I needed every time I left. So without her, uh, I don't even know where I'd be. But so this first poem is called "Supported," and it says, "In relationships, couples will sometimes fight. It could be just to see who's wrong and right. It could be showing how much they care about. Sometimes it gets emotional with a scream and a shout. If you have the right person, though, it will not last. They will help you deal with your past. They won't be negative or say that you are weak. They won't laugh when sometimes you hit the floor and you freak. They know it's a process you are going through day by day. They just wish the negative thoughts wouldn't have to stay. I'm grateful to have the support from people like this because suicide isn't the answer. Just know you'll be missed. You join an extended family larger than you'll know. If you needed someone, their bags are packed and ready to go. Work the hardest you can for the people that are around you, or people that are around. They are the ones who won't complain, not with a sound. People can give support to any and every one. It's a cycle of kindness people have begun. Show them love with a big hug and a thank you. This is the greatest act someone can show you." Yeah, my wife has always been my biggest cheerleader for everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be, hey, I'm gonna try to write a book, and she just kind of looks at me and is like a book, or no, 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 no. I'm just gonna write some poems and what I'm thinking and feeling and what I'm doing, and she's just like, okay, yeah, sounds good. If you need me to grammatically correct them, um, no, I don't need you to do that because you'd be there all day. Um, but I don't ever, or correction, I don't always give her the credit that she deserves. I mean, she always makes sure that I get things done. Always poking and prodding me, being like, "Hey, you on this? You on this?" Because she knows that if I don't do something, I'm gonna forget. Um, and that's just because I don't know, my brain just doesn't work as well as it used to, and um, I have to usually write everything down, and then things come in, and it depends on if the kids have activities, and I'm prioritizing things, and then pretty soon things just get left off. And the last thing I want is every 6 months to be reminded of doing a task. I mean, who has time for that? Um, but supported actually goes two ways, um, which took me a long time to think about. For a the long time to think about is when my wife would talk about needing support. She didn't mean financially. She didn't mean, um, hey, make sure she has certain things. She was talking about the, kind of like the love side of the house, or the intimacy side of the house. The knowing that, hey, I'm still in it with her. I still care about her. We're still married. I'm always gone. So it's like, hey, you remember who I am. You know who we are, and it's like, yeah, no, I get it. Sometimes being gone a lot could really start putting those doubts into your loved ones' heads because you're gone so much and they don't know what you're doing when you're gone. And, all they know is you're gone. You're in all these different countries doing whatever. They're not stupid. They know there's girls in all these other countries. And Um, but you're always somewhere, so you don't always have a phone with you everywhere you go, or um, so sometimes their minds wander, like, just like ours. We just wonder what our spouses are doing back home. You know, because far too often you'll sit there and you'll hear one of the army guys that you're working with, and he'll be talking about, he's getting divorced because his wife cheated on him, and he'd just been in the country for a month, and you're just like, oh man. So then things are going through your head like, do I have a strong enough relationship to carry on through to this? Is it, am I making sure that she had everything she has to survive this, you know, 6 month, 9 month, 12-month deployment I'm on? Um, can she handle it? What kind of support structure does she have? Um, and when we first got married, I told her, I said, hey, listen, um, I've heard too many bad things about couples being married and staying home with your first duty assignment, and stupid stuff goes down. I was like, I'm not going to have that. So, I want you to have the best support structure ever. And that usually comes from, your parents or your family back home. So when I leave, you're leaving too. And she would go back home to her mom in Texas, and then I take off and go to wherever country I'm going to that day, and then come back, and then she'll come back, and um, you know, the first couple of times, the first time she came back home, she had a kid, so, Delaney, she's our oldest, and that was back in '04, and I just got back from Afghanistan, and our transition from now she's a single mom by herself trying to take care of a kid that's an infant, and dealing with all those responsibilities, and now I'm coming back home, so she has to figure out how to travel back and forth with this kid, and um, yeah, I didn't make her life very easy, that's for sure. And as my kids got older, they got dragged around to different bases, and their life wasn't very easy either. And but having a good support structure at home, always knowing that they're loved and their parents are always there for them and support them through everything. I think that kind of support really pays dividends in these kids' lives, especially mine, because now all I notice is they have a lot of self confidence, so they're not afraid to go out and try new things. Whereas in maybe if they didn't grow up with that same kind of nurturing environment, they may be more hesitant or not want to um, put themselves out there. And which is funny because the very next poem I wrote is called Family Matters. And it says, I walk through the doorway, my things hit the floor. I see my kids, and they scramble and rush the door. They say, I love you, Dad. How was your day? I said, as any other. How was yours, by the way? They were so excited to share how the days unfold. Dinner arrives on the table, or so I'm told. We still eat and talk about their day. They could tell I have nothing more to say. I try to fake and care about the things they said. I guess they've realized this conversation goes dead. I sit on the couch flipping through TV shows. My wife says, kids, we're excited to tell you stuff. I said I had a long day and I need to relax. I can really do without your attacks. She says, please just be a remember of this family, okay? Then I will have nothing further left to say. She just wants me to be happy and improve. Maybe get into a routine or at least a decent groove. I'll try to read to the little ones every night. This will be our special time with a great delight. Now, when I first started going through some of my struggles, the TV, in case you guys are just tuning in, the TV was my safe zone. That's all I cared about. I'd go in there and I'd escape reality, and I would just, picture myself being one of these characters, and that was it. I was that person. Um, but then, my kids would not feel as loved for me because I'm not engaging with them regularly. They would want to go on bike rides, or they want to go on walks, or they want to go do things. And then they'd look at me and be like, Dad, you coming on this one? And then they'd see the TV on, they'd look at me, and they know that I could hear them. But they're like, okay, never mind, we're just going to go. And, they take off walking with their mom. And each time, though, when they come home, you would hear these kind of little comments. They don't really mean to be hurtful, but they're little kids, so they don't really know that's what they're doing. And, they would say something to their mom about me. Hey, is Dad going to read us tonight? Or is Dad going to do this? Is Dad going to do that? Are we going to do this or that? And it's because they remembered before I had issues how involved I was in their life, and how I wouldn't let a day go by or a night go by that I didn't give them a hug and a kiss and tell them I love them, and make sure that they knew that they were my world, that we were a joint unit, and because we're always stronger together. Um, but along that line, I lost focus of that, and I started buying into the crap that you need to take care of yourself first. And you get lost. It's pretty easy to get lost, especially when you got doctors telling you one thing, these nurses telling you the other. Oh, hey, this medication is supposed to help with this. Oh, this is what this expert says in that. And you don't know who to believe. Some say, oh, hey, nature's the best way to heal, when whatever. And then you try to do these things, but then you find yourself getting overwhelmed. Or in my case, I'm walking through a park. I mean, we're in Germany. It is what it is. And all of a sudden I see some kids like 13, 14, and I just start getting really tense because there's like a group of them. And my brain doesn't come to, oh, they're just having a good time. My brain goes to, if I have to, I could definitely take at least 4 of them. Like, that's where my brain goes. It doesn't go to, oh, I hope they're enjoying themselves. It didn't care. Man, my brain was in almost like a preservation mode. It was just like, where are the threats at? What do I have to take them out with? And can I make quick getaways? And then I remembered I'm a little chubby, so I don't make quick getaways. So I just stand there and and that's my defense. It's a good offense. It's just the way I am now. Something my old boss taught me back in the day. So, Steve Mangum, if you're listening, I still remember that story. We fight from where you fall. Got it. I'm the same guy now. But whenever I dwell on these memories or these activities that I failed to do now, or I stopped doing, it's painful. Because your kids now are not going to have those memories that the other ones used to. The other ones were like, hey, I remember Dad used to read this all the time. And then now you got little Eddie going, no, he doesn't. He says, good night to me, and that's about it. So now their lives are completely different. And then I get confused. I'm like, am I making excuses? Or is it just really just how it is? And I try things, and then frustration, and just, then sadness, regret, and then you slip back into depression, and then you take medication, and then you're like, man, I gotta stop taking this stuff because it's not good for me. I need to figure something else out. And then as you're trying, and then you just get more frustrated because you can't get, your head's not clear. It's just a constant cycle. But one thing I do know is that my family has never stopped fighting for me to get better. They've always told me that no matter what goes on, that I'm always loved and cared for. And, as a guy and I'm the only guy in a girl house, 3 daughters and my wife, so drastic outnumbered with estrogen. And it's hard not to become emotional over some of these things that they say to me. And, but I say to you guys, stay strong, stay dedicated, stay focused, and you guys will pull out of the dark storms. All right. Until tomorrow, boys and girls. Bye.